Welcome to NFL Imperialism. You may have seen this concept floating around YouTube, but I wanted to put my own spin on it and hopefully improve it. Before we get started, I humbly ask that you take a moment to hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. This is going to be a series, and this channel has some other videos as well, sports related, entertainment related. We do a lot here, trying to grow the audience. We appreciate the fact that you're here right now. We ask that you continue to stay with us. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you. If you're interested in a full, thorough breakdown of how this imperialism works, please check out the first 3 minutes or so of the 1966 video, which is linked in the description below. Otherwise, we are ready to start. Today, we will be tackling the 1984 season, a very exciting year in NFL history. Lots of individual accolades were set this year. Dan Marino set the NFL record for passing yards and passing touchdowns. Eric Dickerson set the NFL record for most rushing yards, a record that still stands. Mark Gastineau set the record for most sacks. This was also a year of change. We've got a new map to look at here at Imperialism as the Baltimore Colts officially became the Indianapolis Colts. Two changes take place here. One, the Redskins now own all of Maryland to start the game, and the Colts, of course, are now stationed in Indiana. Another change took place that's not going to be reflected on the map. The New York Jets moved from Shea Stadium to Giant Stadium, leaving New York for New Jersey. Now, you may have noticed that New Jersey has been the home of the Jets in imperialism since the beginning. At first, this was an oversight, but I decided, hey, the Jets, Jersey, it makes sense, so we just left them there. With all of the individual accolades we just mentioned, there were certainly some team accolades as well, and that is best reflected in this Super Bowl matchup. Super Bowl 19 pitted the 15-1 49ers against the 14-2 Miami Dolphins. To this day, that is still an NFL record for most combined wins by two teams appearing in the Super Bowl. Even the recent addition of a 17th game to the NFL schedule has yet to change that. In what was expected to be a titanic matchup, the overall excellence of the 49ers led the way in giving them the victory. Will these two teams be there at the end of 1984 imperialism? Our rankings say they have an excellent chance as they rank 1 and 2. For the first time, we welcome the Seattle Seahawks to the top 5. The Denver Broncos make an appearance for the first time in a while. The Raiders round things out. The Colts, in their first season in Indianapolis, take their place back in the bottom 5 with a bunch of other usual suspects, except for the Minnesota Vikings there at number 3. They are always a threat, though. We see what they can do in past imperialisms. Enough intro, let's get on with this. 1984 imperialism is ready to begin. And we will begin, as we always do, with a spin of the wheel. That is the Detroit Lions. Arrow's going to take them southwest. Looky here. An expansion no more. At the first time of asking, Indianapolis is going to host a game in imperialism. The Colts welcome the Lions. This was a bumbling, stumbling game until very late in the third quarter. The Colts have entered the red zone. Handoff up the middle to fullback Randy McMillan. Met at the 1 but breaks through for the touchdown and breaking through on the scoreboard. The Colts lead 7-0, but the Lions respond. Get the ball all the way down to the 2-yard line. They run their fullback up the middle, James Jones, giving this game some intrigue and tying it up at 7 apiece. The Lions will be getting the ball back. They're at their own 24-yard line. This is Gary Danielson looking for tight end Rob Rubik. Makes the catch in stride. This is the first play of the game to go over 25 yards, and he gets 56. This now sets up the Lions' 4th and goal, a 28-yard field goal. 4 seconds remaining. Eddie Murray buries it. And it turned out to be kind of exciting, albeit low scoring. The Lions go into Indianapolis and win this game 10-7. So no fairy tale ending for the newly minted Indianapolis Colts. They lose this game, they lose their land to the Lions. The Lions move on, the Colts are out. After our first elimination, we will head back to the wheel where it lands on the Bengals. It's going to stay with them. They will head northeast. That's actually going to catch that little needle on top of West Virginia. The Bengals will expand into that state and expand their land. We go with another spin, and this will sneak into the Jets portion of the wheel. They'll head to the northwest into the territory of the Philadelphia Eagles. Jets at Eagles is next. We haven't exactly started this imperialism off with offensive juggernauts. This game is tied 3-3 in the second half. The Eagles make that kick, and then Paul McFadden makes this one to give them a 9-3 lead. The game is yet to see a touchdown. The Jets have a chance here, 31 seconds to go. From the 16, quarterback Pat Ryan fires to the end zone to Derek Gaffney, incomplete. It's the game. It was close. It came down to the last second, but the reality is the final score was Jets 3, Eagles 9. So with this victory, the Eagles will take over Southern New Jersey, as the Jets actually are in New Jersey now. And both teams that moved home in 1984 are out of imperialism. We'll be looking for some more offense in whatever our next matchup is. The Chiefs will give us a good chance at that. The wheel will choose them. They will head straight north, though. That's going to be an expansion into the state of Iowa. We'll spin the wheel a second time on this round, and we will get barely the St. Louis Cardinals. They'll head northwest, and had the Chiefs not just grabbed Iowa, they would have. Instead, this will be an invasion. The battle for Missouri will now include Iowa. Cardinals at Chiefs. The Chiefs lead 16-7 in the third quarter, looking for more. From inside the one, they're going to throw, and that's successful. Bill Kenny finds Carlos Carson in the back of the end zone to give the Chiefs a 23-7 lead. The Cardinals make it 23-14 and are looking to score again. A minute 39 to go. Earl Farrell goes right through the middle of the defense for the touchdown. And we're looking at another close game here. It's 23-21. The Chiefs still lead. The Cardinals will try the onside kick. It's loose, but it's recovered by the Chiefs. They wind up scoring a field goal and taking this game by a final score of 26-21. In our third one-score game of imperialism, we got more offense this time. 47 total points scored in the game. The Chiefs maintain their land, and in the process, they will take over the Cardinals' land, and they own Missouri to go along with Iowa. Might we have another close game in store? The wheel is going to send us to the Atlanta Falcons. The arrow is going to send them southeast, and that's going to catch the territory of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Not highly rated teams in 1984, but closely matched. Let's see how this goes down. Atlanta holds a 23-13 lead in the fourth quarter, under 4 minutes to go. From just inside the 11-yard line, this handoff goes to Gerald Riggs. He is untouched into the end zone, and the Falcons look like they might be running away with this. They will lead 30-13. Tampa will not go away quietly, though. They've gotten it down to the 3-yard line. It is 3rd and goal. Steve DeBerg, a quarterback, calls an audible, sends his receivers out. This touchdown pass to Kevin House will make it 30-19, pending the extra point. They're actually going to line up and go for 2 here, and they're going to get it. So it's 30-21, 9-point lead. The onside kick is set down, and they recover. And now they're at the 46-yard line. It's 2nd down. DeBerg drops back, throws the slant to tailback James Wilder. Bottled up in the backfield today, but he had a good day receiving. Very next play, 1st and goal from the 9. They go in motion again. The handoff will go to fullback Edgar Armstrong, and he is able to score a touchdown. This is getting interesting. The Bucs are going to have to line up for another onside kick, 30-28. Minute 7 to go. Here is that onside kick. The Falcons are unable to land on it. Tampa's got it back. 2nd and 4 from the 23. They're not quite in field goal range. They're going to try to get there. This pass to Gerald Carter is incomplete, so they're going to have to try for the end zone now. The Falcons look like they might be attacking. Whatever they tried was picked up by the line. The pass to Jimmy Giles falls incomplete, and the comeback attempt is thwarted. Atlanta will survive 30-28. We've played 4 games in 1983 Imperialism, and they have been decided by a grand total of 16 points. These weren't great teams. The Falcons are actually bottom 5, but the matchup made for good viewing. They will take over Northern Florida, knocking Tampa Bay out of the game. The Falcons move on. Time to revisit this wheel. It will be landing directly on the Cincinnati Bengals. They've already expanded once. They head to the northeast. That's going to take them into the territory of their AFC Central rival, the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Bengals have the ball first from their own 30-yard line. This handoff up the middle to Charles Alexander. He breaks through, but he fumbles. Ball is loose. The Steelers are able to recover it. And on their opening drive, they get it down to about the 8-yard line. Quarterback Mark Malone drops back to pass, finds John Stallworth on the comebacker for the touchdown. The Steelers jump out to an early 7-0 lead. Those are the winning points of this game. The Bengals offense could go nowhere. The Steelers win 19-0. After our first 4 games were decided by a combined 16 points, this one got decided by 19. Basically, as far as this Imperialism goes, a blowout. The Steelers will take over the Bengals' land, and this isn't the Steel Curtain Steelers, but in 1984 they did make the AFC Championship game, so they're primed to make some noise in this Imperialism. We've now eliminated 5 teams from 1984. This spin of the wheel will give us the Buffalo Bills. They will travel to the southeast. That will catch the territory of the New York Giants. That's going to be our next game. So it's been a while since this has happened, but the footage of this game did get lost. Was able to catch the very end of this and see the final score of Giants 23, Bills 10. It looks like the Bills led after the first quarter, but the Giants were able to control the game from that point forward. That reflected in their having the first pick of the 1985 draft, where they took Bruce Smith, kind of kickstarting the turnaround into the team that we saw in the 90s. But here in 1984, the Giants will take over the state of New York, the state they purport to represent, and they will move on in Imperialism. Our next spin of this wheel will be giving us the Philadelphia Eagles, just barely. We're going to stay out east. They're going to head to the northeast, and that's going to bring the Giants right back onto the field. They just took the Bills out of the game. They will now face Philly. We're scoreless in the second quarter. The Eagles are pinned all the way back inside their 1. This is play action. That wasn't a good idea. Lawrence Taylor comes in for the safety. The Giants lead 2-0, and that is still the score with under a minute to go. This could be the lowest scoring game we've ever had. Joe Morris, unfortunately, is going to ruin that. He scores this touchdown, the first offensive points of the game, the only offensive points of the game. The Giants are going to win this one by the thrilling score of 9-0. This is Philadelphia's second game in Imperialism. They've both been offensive stinkers. We're not sad to see you go, Philly. The Giants are going to take over that territory, expand their land, and they're looking like the bully of the Northeast. Let's see where the wheel wants to take us this time. It's going to take us out west to the Seattle Seahawks. Guaranteed expansion. They will go slightly southeast. They only have Idaho and Oregon to hit. Idaho keeps them in isolation. Oregon does not. That's where they're going, expanding their land. We spin the wheel for a second time. It will be landing on the Atlanta Falcons. They will head to the northeast, so they too will be expanding. The state of South Carolina enters their fold. We'll now spin the wheel for a third time, and we're going to just hit the Washington Redskins. They will head to the northwest. So now, for the third straight game, the New York Giants will be taking the field. Everyone just wants to try to invade them. This time, it's Washington doing the invading. Let's see how this game turns out. Late in the first half, we're tied at 7. Washington's down at the New York 37. Joe Theismann looking downfield, throws to Art Monk, makes a great catch between two guys for the touchdown, giving Washington a 14-7 lead. The Giants tried to tie the game. They've now reached 33 seconds left in the game. Fourth down handoff to Joe Morris is short, and we had a scoreless second half. The Redskins are going to take this one 14-7. Underwhelming on the scoreboard again, but this game was more about good defense than bad offense. That said, the Giants were called onto the field 3 consecutive games. They weren't able to win number 3. The Redskins will take over that territory, and now they're looking like the bully of the Northeast. The search for offense continues. The wheel will select just barely the Denver Broncos. That was a close call. Guaranteed expansion as they're in isolation. That arrow took them northeast. They'll expand into Nebraska, which will end their isolation. Wheel spinner again, and this time we're going to stay out west. Yes, that's the LA Raiders. And they're going to head to the southeast and catch the territory of the Rams. So for the first time here in Game 9, we're getting a top 5 team on the field. That would be the Raiders. And also for the first time, we're getting the Battle of Los Angeles. Raiders at Rams. Late in the game, the Raiders lead 14-7 deep into Rams territory. This goes to Frank Hawkins up the middle, in for the injured Kenny King. That will extend the Raider lead to 21-7. They had little trouble in this game, especially after Eric Dickerson went down with injury in the second quarter. The Raiders win 21-7. The first ever Battle of Los Angeles goes to the Raiders. They will knock the Rams off the map, take over Central California, and continue on in imperialism. We're about 1/3 of the way through 1984's imperialism. This wheel is going to land on the top 3 Seattle Seahawks. They will head to the northeast and they will grab the state of Idaho, expanding their land. We'll see if the wheel wants to give us a game this time around. It's going to land on the champs, the number 1 ranked San Francisco 49ers. They'll head north, so Seattle just expanded on the previous spin. They now have to defend that land against the 49ers. This is number 1 versus number 3. Here we go. The Niners in total control, leading 24-0 in the third quarter, but Seattle's driving. Dave Craig tries to force this pass in. It's picked off by Eric Wright, and he is shot out of a cannon. You can see some Niners blocking in the background, and this is over. Eric Wright is not going to be caught. A scintillating pick 6 to give the 49ers a 31-0 lead in Seattle. They went on to win this game in a shutout, in a blowout, 38-0. Certainly the 49ers would be favorites in this game, even though Seattle's ranked number 3 and at home, but 38-0 may have been something nobody saw coming. This is a dangerous 49er team. They will take over the Seahawk territory, and they were the first team to ever win 18 games in an NFL season. They won't need to win that many to win this season's imperialism. The question is, who can stand in their way? 10 teams have been eliminated from this season's imperialism. We're looking to eliminate some more. This is going to sneak into the Saints portion of the wheel. They'll head to the southwest, not southwest enough to avoid hitting the Oilers territory. That will be our next game in Houston. The Saints lead 14-0 in the second half, looking for more. From the 24-yard line of Houston, this pass goes to Tyrone Young. Makes a diving reception in the end zone, extending the Saint lead to 21-0. They would go on to win this game rather handily, 24-13. It's not that the Saints are exceptionally good, it's that the Oilers are exceptionally bad. The Saints travel into Houston, win this game, taking the Oilers from the map and expanding their land. The wheel's been giving us games fairly consistently. Here's another spin. It's going to give us the Cleveland Browns. The arrow is going to take them slightly to the northeast. That's going to hit the territory of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and for the second time in this imperialism, an Ohio team is invading Pittsburgh. And for the second time, it's not going well. The Steelers lead 13-0 in the fourth quarter. This comeback pattern to Louis Lips turns into a touchdown, extending the lead to 20-0. And that's going to be all she wrote. Two different Ohio teams have gone into Pittsburgh, and two different Ohio teams have been shut out. Pittsburgh wins 20-0. Speaking of shutouts, that is the fourth shutout in 12 games in 1984 Imperialism. Defense is ruling the day. The Steelers will take over what little territory the Browns have, and they now own a nice little chunk of land in the Midwest and Northeast region. The wheel's going to give us a close call here. Will it be the Falcons or the Lions? It's going to stay with the Falcons. They will head to the Northeast. That's going to be an expansion. They will take North Carolina. We are nearing the midway point of this imperialism. The next game will get us there even faster. This is going to land on the Vikings. They're going to go west, slightly southwest, and that dip is what's going to cause them to expand into South Dakota. The third time's been the charm on these wheel spins. This is going to be very close. That's just bypassing the Saints, hitting the Packers. They're going to head straight north, but that is going to catch the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. We're going to get this game coming up right now. Green Bay at Detroit. The Packers look to extend their 14-10 halftime lead here in the third quarter. Lynn Dickey drops back. He's going to fire to James Lofton, leaps up and makes the catch in the end zone, giving Green Bay a touchdown and a 21-10 lead. The floodgates open from there. They win this game 35-10, a nostalgic score for Packer fans. That's how they won Super Bowl I, also after leading 14-10 at the half. So the Lions will not have any kind of run in this season's imperialism. They go down at home to the Packers. Green Bay takes over their territory and expands their land. Round goes the wheel. It will stop on the Washington Redskins. Arrow will take them southwest, so we're going to get this game that was looking like it was unavoidable. The Redskins will travel to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. Can Washington be the first team to score on the Steelers in this season's imperialism? Pittsburgh gets the ball first. This is their opening drive from their own 36-yard line. The handoff goes to Frank Pollard. He's going to fight for the first down, and he fights so much that ball comes loose. Ken Coffey forces the fumble. That is Mel Kaufman recovering it. He keeps going. The Steelers are trying to get a hold of him. They do. They can't get him down. They get a hold of him. They can't get him down. He runs it all the way back in for the touchdown. So goes the shutout streak. Washington will jump out to a 7-0 lead. It's now 7-3. Pittsburgh has driven the ball inside the 5-yard line. This handoff goes to Rich Ehrenberg. He won't go down either. Pushes his way in for the touchdown. The Steelers have retaken the lead, a lead they will take into halftime, 10-7. Washington now bunched up at the goal line, 3rd and 1. The handoff goes to John Riggins, and he's able to juke his way in for the touchdown. The first points given up by the Steelers defense in 3 games, 14-10. Washington has the ball now late in the 4th, 3rd and 1. If they get this, it might be over. The give is to Keith Griffin. He doesn't get much, but he gets enough for the first down. They salt the clock away from there. The Redskins head into Pittsburgh and win this game 14-10. This was an entertaining defensive battle without question. The Steelers are unable to defend their land for the 3rd time, and Washington will take over that entire area. And except for those pesky Patriots who never like to get called on early, they own the whole Northeast. In fact, 5 teams in total have yet to be heard from at all as we've reached the halfway point. The Saints have been heard from before, they get called again. They'll go to the Northeast. That's going to be an expansion into the state of Arkansas. We've fallen a little bit into a 2 expansions before a game pattern. Will that continue? This will hit the Green Bay Packers. It will not continue. They'll head to the west and run into the territory of the Minnesota Vikings. That game is coming up right now. The Packers lead 7-0 in the first quarter and are on the doorstep for more. The Vikings bring the defense back. Green Bay responds with a run up the middle to Jesse Clark for the touchdown. Green Bay now lead 14-0, and they're able to coast the rest of the way, picking up yet another shutout in this season's imperialism, beating the Vikings 24-0. This was a Packers team that went from 1-7 to 8-8 in 1984. It looks like that second half momentum is carrying into Imperialism. They travel to Minnesota, knock them off the map, take over their land. Might they be a dark horse in this thing going forward? We're looking to hear from teams that have not come up at all on this wheel. Not the case on this spin, that's the 49ers. They'll head to the southeast, that actually needs a photo finish. That dodges Nevada, and the 49ers will instead expand into Utah. Perhaps this spin will give us somebody new. It's going to be close, it won't be someone new, that's going to be the Saints, just barely. They'll head to the east, and the state of Mississippi is waiting for them there. They will pick it up and add it to their land. Another very close call between the Falcons and the Dolphins. It'll be the Dolphins, which means they will play the Falcons. No need to spin this arrow. We know where they're going. The AFC champion Dolphins, picked for the first time on this wheel, will travel to Atlanta. This game started off hot with this deep touchdown pass in the first quarter from Dan Marino to Mark Clayton. The Falcons respond, Barkowski to Stacey Bailey. The Dolphins then respond. They get it deep. This handoff to Woody Bennett from just inside the 1 yard line goes for the touchdown. We're still in the first quarter. We're seeing some of these offensive fireworks. Miami leads 14-7, but then this happened. That is Dan Marino getting injured. The Dolphin defense held up for as long as it could, but we're now in the fourth quarter. Same 14-7 score. The pitch goes to Gerald Riggs. He's a bruiser, but he's got some moves too. This is a 30-yard run down to the 9 yard line. On second down, a minute 20 to go. Play action. Barkowski looks for Bailey. He extends, makes the diving catch, his second touchdown of the game. That'll tie us up. We are going to be heading to overtime, tied at 14. The Falcons get it first. After a sack, they face 2nd and 18. Steve Barkowski has plenty of time. Fires to veteran Alfred Jenkins, makes the catch past midfield and is able to run it to about the 29 yard line. Next play, they're going to do a draw to Gerald Riggs. He dives for the first down. They're inside the 20 yard line. And on first down, they're going to try their luck with their kicker, Mick Luckhurst. That's a great name for a kicker if he can make this. From 37 yards out, he faces no pressure. The kick is up and it's in. And can you believe it? The Atlanta Falcons beat the Miami Dolphins, who didn't have Dan Marino for a lot of the game, in overtime by a final score of 17-14. So what we have here is a bottom 5 team beating a top 5 team. Not the first time we've seen that in Imperialism, but it's very rare. The Falcons will take over the Dolphins' land. And speaking of top 5 teams, only 2 remain, and they're over on the west, the 49ers and the Broncos. With this win, the Falcons enter isolation. 1/3 of the names on this wheel have not been heard from at all, and here are one of them, the Dallas Cowboys. They will not have to play though. They're going to head to the northeast and grab their neighboring state of Oklahoma. We'll look for our next spin to get us a game. It will land on the Saints. They're a popular pick by the wheel. They will head to the northeast, and we needed a photo finish there. It looked like at first they were going to be expanding into Tennessee. Instead, they will be hitting the Chiefs' territory. Saints at Chiefs coming up next. The Saints defense is going to open the scoring in the second quarter with this safety. It was 2-0 there. It's 9-0 now after an actual touchdown. The Saints are in shotgun. Here comes Art Still to get another safety. The Chiefs lead 11-0. The Saints get on the board, make it 11-7, but with 1:55 left in the game. Quarterback Bill Kenny will drop back, throws it high, but Henry Marshall is able to go up and get it, giving the Chiefs another touchdown. 2 touchdowns, 2 safeties, a final score victory over the Saints of 18-7. So the Saints expanded quite a bit by landing on the wheel a lot, but they were only able to get the 1 win. Once they went into Kansas City, they take the loss. The Chiefs will take over the Saints' land, and between them and the 49ers, they may have the largest land in the U.S. right now. We're getting closer to the end of 1984's imperialism. This wheel will skip over the Patriots and hit the Packers, and they will head slightly southwest. That's going to hit the Chiefs' territory. The Packers have had 2 successful invasions, while the Chiefs have successfully repelled 2 invasions. Something's got to give here, and whoever wins this game will be the first team with 3 wins this season. After the Chiefs take a 7-0 first quarter lead, the Green Bay Packers are forced to settle for 3 separate field goals. Here are the first 2 by kicker Al Del Greco, and here now is the third one. Each one got a little bit further in distance, but they could have turned at least one of those into a touchdown. Now Nick Lowry for the Chiefs puts up his own field goal, 10-9 Kansas City. Green Bay in range again here on 3rd and 11 in the fourth quarter. Just going to run the ball, looking like they're going to settle for one more field goal here. They're actually going for it. I don't understand this. Their kicker's 3 for 3 on the day. It's 4th and 7. They're going to pitch it out to the left, and they're short. And that's the game. What a way to end it. Green Bay, a very head-scratching decision, are going to take the loss here to Kansas City, 10-9. This has certainly been an interesting imperialism. We're not seeing a ton of points, where Green Bay only needed 3 more to win that game, decided to try to pick up a first down. I guess with a decision like that, they deserve to lose. Kansas City is going to take over their land, and they now stretch from the bottom to the top of the United States, and at this point, without question, have the most land. We're going to do a little expansion run. First up are the Raiders. Arrow takes them to the northeast. They will take the state of Nevada. Coming up next will be the Patriots for the first time. They will go southeast into Little Rhode Island. Once again on the wheel, we'll get the Patriots again. They'll head northeast this time. They're going to take New Hampshire. And now the wheel is going to give us almost the Patriots again, the Chargers. They will head northeast, so that'll end the expansion run and put the Chargers on the field for the first time against the Raiders in LA. Already leading 3-0 late in the first half, the Chargers look to add more. From the 1-yard line, right up the middle goes Lionel James, giving the Chargers a 10-0 lead that they hope to take to halftime. The Raiders do have some time left though, and from the Charger 44-yard line, 1:15 to go, Mark Wilson at quarterback fires across the middle. That's Todd Christensen catching it between 3 players. My goodness. Very next play, this pass goes to Cliff Branch, and the Raiders score a very important touchdown to stem the tide of momentum by the Chargers, going into the half trailing by 10-7. It is now 10-14. The Raiders have taken the lead. Chargers have the ball. Raiders look like they want to attack. The Chargers pick that up. Dan Fouts is going to throw it downfield to Wes Chandler, makes the catch at the 20, gets it down inside the 10. He finally goes down. The Chargers now on 3rd down, handing it off around right end, cutting back inside, breaking the tackle, scoring the touchdown for the Chargers, giving them a 17-14 lead. Ernest Jackson from the tailback position. The Raiders now, 2:04 left in the game. From their own 20-yard line, this pass goes to Cliff Branch, makes the catch and keeps on going. Picks up about 43 yards, giving the Raiders a chance to either tie this game or take the lead. Next play, the handoff goes to Frank Hawkins. Gets around the end, nice gain, avoids a tackler, picks up a nice downfield block, and will score the touchdown with 1:16 to go. The Raiders take the lead 21-17. The Chargers do nothing with the ball. The Raiders, after trailing 10-0 after the 2-minute warning in the first half, come back to win this game 21-17. The Chargers had 0 involvement in this game. They were never landed on in the wheel, and no one ever attacked them. As soon as they got on the field, though, they put up a fight against the top 5 team on their field. But they're going to take the loss. The Raiders are going to expand into their land, and now only the Bears have not been heard from at all. We're down to single-digit teams remaining. This wheel is going to land on the 49ers. The arrow will take them east, so that will be an expansion into the state of Montana. We head back to the wheel for a second time this round, and we're now going to get the Chicago Bears. They're going to head to Southwest. There was a small chance they could expand into Kentucky, but otherwise this was always going to be a game for them against the Chiefs. The Chiefs may have won 3 games to this point, but it wasn't their offense that was doing the winning. Now going up against this Bears defense, that turned into a problem. Here the Bears lead 13-0. Matsui juts up the middle for a touchdown, giving the Bears a 20-0 lead. They close out a 27-0 shutout. Stop me if you've heard this before, in 1984 Imperialism. With the Bears making that appearance and getting that win, every team has now had some kind of involvement in Imperialism. The Bears will take over the Chiefs' land, and now only the Broncos, Cowboys, and Patriots have yet to see the field. Just 8 teams remain in 1984. All of a sudden, the Bears are super popular with the wheel. They get chosen to go Southwest. This photo finish tells us that they will bypass the state of Kansas and hit the Cowboys' territory. This is Dallas's first trip into this season's Imperialism, and they have a chance to become the first team to win 50 games before anybody else can even win 40. They get the ball first. They're facing 3rd and 6 in their own territory. This handoff up the middle to Ron Springs. He's blasted by Steve McMichael. That ball's loose. It's picked up by Dan Hampton. He steamrolls quarterback Gary Hogaboom and gets into the end zone. The Bears jump out to a very quick 7-0 lead on the strength of their defense. Dallas gets it back. They try Springs again, and once again McMichael will jar it loose. The Bears recover, but they won't be able to score on defense this time. Instead, on the first play of the next drive, they hand it off to Walter Payton, bursting through the middle of the defense for another touchdown. The Bears lead 14-0. It was cruise control from that point forward. 35-0 at the half, a 38-6 final. And after seeing Dallas beat up on so many lesser teams so many times, it's interesting to see the shoe now on the other foot. Looking here at the map now, the Chicago Bears will continue to expand their land. They knocked the Cowboys out of the game, and even though they're a year away from their true dominance, they're definitely a threat to win Imperialism this season. Only a quarter of the NFL's 28 teams remain. This wheel's going to land on the Broncos. Might they see the field for the first time? Yes, the arrow's going to go east, slightly northeast. That's going to catch the territory of the Bears. They're going to be back on the field against the top 5 team, but they will get them at home. Denver actually took a 3-0 lead in this game, but that didn't last. The Bears lead 14-3 now. This handoff goes to Walter Payton. They have no chance to get him. Well, nope, they don't get him. This was part of Payton's monster 255-yard, 4-touchdown game. The Bears dominate, winning the same score they beat Dallas by, 38-6. And for the second straight game, they do so with under 100 yards passing. This is starting to look more and more like a Bears coronation. They will get the Broncos off the map, and with 6 teams remaining, it is interesting. You have 4 excellent teams, the 49ers reigning champions, the Raiders previous season champions, the Bears and Redskins are both division champions, but potentially the looming threats based on their location are the in-isolation Falcons and the virtually in-isolation Patriots. Who will be next on this wheel? It looks like it's going to be, for the first time in a while, the Redskins. They'll head northwest, and at some point that's going to run into the Bears territory. So Chicago is right back on the field. They'll be at home against the Redskins in an NFC divisional round rematch from 1984. It's been all defense and running game for the Bears until this game. All of a sudden now they found an aerial attack. This deep pass from Jim McMahon to speedster Willie Gault will be a touchdown. That was on 3rd and 12. That was Washington's chance to get back in this game. Instead, they trail 21-0, and they're facing the same fate as everybody else. A 41-0 shellacking by the Bears. The Bears are a lawnmower, and every other NFL team appears to be the grass. Washington was no exception to this. The Bears take over their territory, majorly expand their land, and we're down to 5 teams. Maybe nobody can stop these guys. We're going to have to find out. We're 4 games away from crowning this season's champion. The wheel's going to land on the Bears again. It's going to go southwest. They're finally going to claim the state of Kansas. The Bears expand their land, and that logo gets a lot bigger now. We'll spin this one again, and it's going to pass the Patriots as it likes to do. Hit the Raiders. They will go northeast. That's going to send them to face the 49ers. The Battle of the West Coast is on. That's 1. That's 2. And on this pass from Joe Montana, that's 3 first half touchdown receptions for Dwight Clark, putting the 49ers out in a dominant position. 21-0. They play with their food the rest of the way, winning this game rather handily against a fellow top 5 team, 35-13. The 49ers weren't Super Bowl champions for no reason in 1984. They were phenomenal all season long. They take out the Raiders. They own the entire Pacific Coast. And given the location of these logos, it's either going to take some expansion or a perfect arrow spin before we get our next game. And we will be doing some expansion. First up will be the Atlanta Falcons. This photo finish will hit the corner of Tennessee. Next up will be the 49ers. They will head to the south and grab the state of Arizona. We will have the Falcons again heading to the northeast. Now they will grab Virginia. This will once again grab Atlanta. They will head to the southwest, continuing into Alabama. Someone new this time, the Chicago Bears, and this is going to be a photo finish. And look at that. We were talking about expansion or perfect arrow spin. That right there is a perfect arrow spin, finding the tiniest hole between North Dakota and Wyoming to hit the 49ers territory. Bears at Niners is next. The 49ers look to put their stamp on this game early. Opening drive. Play action. Montana rolls out, finds Freddie Solomon on a short route, and he's able to run it in the rest of the way. The 49ers will not be intimidated by this Bears defense. They lead 7-0. They score again in the first quarter to make it 14-0, and they once again have the ball. From the 23, Montana throws it deeper this time. Dwight Clark gets up and gets it. Touchdown Niners. It's still the first quarter, and they lead 21-0. Now the Bears have a chance to score here in the second quarter. They're inside the 1. They're going to throw the ball, and it's intercepted by Ronnie Lott. What happened to the Bears defense in this game? The answer to that question is they met the 49er offense. 42-16, the Niners win. The 2 remaining powerhouses had to play with 4 teams remaining. The 49ers win that game, they're going to take over the Bears' land. What that does is guarantee that either the Patriots or the Falcons will play in the title game, as they're unable to play each other. For the 49ers to win this imperialism, they're going to need to win 2 more games after winning this one. With 3 teams left on this wheel, one is a clear favorite, and that's who we're landing on, the 49ers. They will head to the east and take the state of Kentucky, which will completely now surround the Falcons. The wheel will probably now see fit, yes, to give us the 49ers again, and this time they're going to head directly into the Falcon territory. This will put the New England Patriots into the championship game. They will become just the second team to do so without having to play another game prior. Who will be their opponent? The 49ers or the Falcons? That game is next. Atlanta desperately need to stop here if they want a chance to stay in this game. They trail 14-0 late. This is Wendell Tyler on a slant pattern, catches it in stride and strides his way into the end zone. The 49ers will lead 21-0 at halftime. Not much to look at here in the second half. Niners take this game against their NFC West rival, believe it or not at this time, by a final score of 28-6. Well, congratulations to the Patriots for making it to the championship game. You never had to play a game. Your reward will be to play the juggernaut powerhouse 1984 49ers, who went 18-1 in winning the Super Bowl, losing their only game by 3 points. Maybe their only chance to win this game is to get it at home. We're going to spin this wheel and find that out. And here's that spin. Oh no. Alrighty. The Patriots are going to have to fly across the country to San Francisco to play the 49ers in their home stadium. Good luck. The 49ers bring a 7-0 lead into the second quarter. The Patriots back up their defense on the goal line, and Roger Craig's just going to run it right up the middle for the score. The Niners lead 14-0. New England needs to get something going to have a chance here. They're backed up 3rd and 11 on their own 26-yard line. Tony Eason fires a pass into triple coverage, and Dwight Hicks makes the interception, his second of the game. The Niners get the ball down to the 5-yard line. This is going to be a sweep to Wendell Tyler, and he just breaks the plane of the goal line. The 49ers have jumped out to a 21-0 lead, and from this moment on, it was an absolute bloodbath. 55-0. Final score, 49ers win. Not just the game, they win imperialism. This map of the United States has turned 49er red. They own the nation. They become the 4th team to win imperialism in the same season that they won the Super Bowl. This was an excellent Niner team. They go down as one of the best of all time. They were battle-tested. The Patriots offered them no resistance. The 49ers are your 1984 imperialism champion. The 49ers and the Dolphins faced off in Super Bowl 19, and it was a completely reasonable expectation to see them face off again at some point in this imperialism, perhaps even in the championship game. But while the Dolphins ate the early upset and went one and done, the 49ers racked up victories until the imperialism championship game against the, let's face it, imposter Patriots. They rode their geography to the championship game, and in next season's real-life NFL, they did make the Super Bowl. But the 49er victory over the Patriots here was essentially a no-brainer. It's time now to take a look at this 49er championship roster, starting with the offense. Top to bottom, you can't find a flaw here. Everybody was amazing. Everybody played their part. Everybody on this team could probably start for just about any other team in the league. They were amazing, no question about it. But supplementing this offense was an amazing defense as well. Of these players, nobody, no unit is anything close to this secondary. Ronnie Lott and Eric Wright, your starting corners. Dwight Hicks and Carlton Williamson, your starting safeties. All of them Pro Bowlers at one point in their career. And of course, someone like Ronnie Lott, a first ballot Hall of Famer, arguably the greatest defensive back that ever played the game. It's no surprise that nobody was able to beat this team in this season's imperialism. Our first 4 games of 1984 saw 4 one-score victories. The narrative quickly shifted to defensive play in low-scoring games. Once the Bears and then the 49ers entered the game proper, we still saw defensive play, but scoring did rise. The championship game victory by the 49ers tied the championship game record for most points scored and fewest points allowed, naturally setting the record for largest championship game margin. And the game also gave us a ridiculous total of 8 shutouts for the season. The 49ers topped the list of best records in 1984 not only by virtue of winning the imperialism title, but also by properly winning the most games with 5. The Bears gave their best showing ever in imperialism by notching 4 dominant wins. 6 different teams who have won imperialism in the past, including the fairly recent past, went one and done this season. One of those teams were the Dallas Cowboys, who still maintain their lead on the top of the overall standings, a position they're likely to hold for some time. They will continue to look for their 50th overall victory. The Niners shoot up the standings, joining a gaggle of teams at 17-18 and 1 imperialism title under their belts. We are now down to just 8 teams with a winning record. Thank you for hanging out with us and watching this episode of Imperialism. We will be coming out with the 1985 season in just a few days. If you happen to be watching this later on from when it was posted, 1985 and likely a few other seasons have already been posted. All of that is down in the description. If you liked what you watched, please feel free to give the video a like and share with a friend. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. One last look at this 49er map, a total team with amazing individuals that made the other players around them better than they already had been. And next season, they will be drafting a certain wide receiver from Mississippi Valley State. Ironically, at least after the way this Imperialism ended, using a draft pick they acquired in a trade from the Patriots. We will catch you next time. Thank you so very much, and have an awesome day.